thought I'd grab myself a nice VB. Why not? You'd be mad if you didn't. Was built in World War II as part of the Inland Defence Road system. They built the underground hospital in the wall in case the Japanese came in and bombed the hospital. What a gem, look at this. All the old stuff, how good's it? So they did their best to try and disguise it so that it couldn't be seen by the old Japanese if they came in here. Women, after they'd given birth, they stayed out on the balcony. Well, we're on a nice flat section of the Barclay Highway. Landscape just completely changed. So I don't know whether they've chopped all the trees down. They must have, but there was a few shrubs and trees and things around. But now there's not. It's completely changed. And look, we're finally getting to go around a corner too. How about that? So this makes things a bit slower, adding a bit of time on. We've actually been through quite a lot of these roadworks. They just have one lane open and red lights at either end and no one working, but they're actually working on this one, which is pretty cool. They've just got the grader going through here in front. Probably can't really see it. I'll try and move over a little bit. Just getting all the dirt off this side of the road, keeping it nice and clean, but she's pretty slow. We're doing about 5 kilometers an hour, but that's all right. Here he is, he's turning around. Look at that. Well done, thanks mate. Nice clean road for us. Cheers buddy. We're in Queensland. Well, just crossed from the Northern Territory back into Queensland. We are still behind a couple of caravans. Oh, we're behind one caravan now and a big truck. Next town's only 13 k's away and we're going to pull in anyway, so there's not much point really overtaking, is there? It's what, Gamma Wheel or something it's called, or Camel Wheel, I'm not sure. And then we've got still another couple of 100 k's to Mount Isa, and she's what, 36 degrees outside, so another warm day. Lucky we came up here at this time of the year, not a month's time.
It would be stinking hot.
It would be stinking hot. It's only the beginning of October. Alright, so
10 k's.
Pull up here, have maybe a cappuccino. Depends if they've got a pub up here, we might have a schnitty and a beer.
You know there's a pub. It's probably only going to be a pub and nothing else.
So we've just dropped into the Camel Wheel Hotel. We were going to get a schnitty, but unfortunately the bistro doesn't open till 5:30. It's a pretty good little pub anyway. I thought I'd grab myself a nice VB. Why not? You'd be mad if you didn't. We have a quick squeeze inside. It's a lot cooler inside anyway. It's heaps cooler inside than outside. I think it's about 38 outside at the moment, but it's a nice little pub. Oh, it's nice and cool in here, that's for sure. So we've just pulled into a little rest area about 50 k's or so west of Mount Isa, because it's apparently a World War II historic site. So what we've discovered is that the Mount Isa to Camberwell Road was built in World War II as part of the Inland Defence Road system. So I could get troops from over this side into the centre of Northern Territory there to head up towards Darwin. And it's actually built on the road. So here is the actual road still there. The old bitumen road that was built, when did it get bitumen? 1943 it got bitumened. How about that? What a ripper. Ripper rotor. And you can actually see it going right up there off into the distance. So we come up behind a big road train, and this one is a 4-trailer road train, and she's pretty long. She's a massive bit of dust. I wonder where he's been. And she's definitely a long one, this one. Then we've got another one coming the other way.
You can't even or hardly read the road.
There's another 4 one. Yeah, can't even read the road trot. That's the 2 blokes that just passed each other. Having a little bit of a chat.
Coming in and out of the mines, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably. So we've just rocked into Mount Isa. Heading to our secure caravan park. And I tell you, so far looking, the old mines are pretty close to the town, that's for sure. And there's a lot of, I don't know if this is a smelter up here or something. I'll flick it around in a second. You can see it's very industrial, and look, here's some mining stuff just right here. So some mining action right on the edge of the road just here. Wow, oh look, there's a 4-tier road train again, another one. Same mob. I wonder what they're doing in there. So what's on the menu for tonight? Got the old Weber going. Let's have a bit of a squeeze. We have butterfly chicken that smells absolutely awesome. We're in the Mount Isa caravan park. Yep, another caravan park, unfortunately. A little bit noisy behind us. Anyway, we'll tuck into this, have some dinner, maybe another chilli one. Got a couple of days Mount Isa for a few chores that we need to do, get a couple of things fixed on the vehicles, and then we're off for another little adventure. We're going to head out to a couple of really specky spots, which you'll have to wait and see what they are, but they're going to be awesome. I can't wait. So just doing a little tour at Mount Isa here, into the underground hospital. And they built this underground hospital, we're going to have a look at that in a minute. They built the underground hospital in the wall in case the Japanese came in and bombed the hospital. So they built one underground so they had a spare one just in case. But just up here behind me is what they call a tent house. And the tent houses were built in the 30s because of the shortage of temporary accommodation for all the miners that came down here. So the portability and the cost and the ease of building, they built these little tent houses. So it's just basically a bit of tin and canvas, and they put tin over the top of it, get a gap between the canvas roof and the sun so to cool it down. So we're going to have a bit of a squeeze inside, eh? So basically the canvas is just held down with rope. They got canvas windows, fly screen and canvas windows. Classic. Wow, check this out. It's all as if it would have been in the 1930s. Now, maybe a bit later with the old radio. What a gem, look at this. All the old stuff, how good's it? So the old kitchen area here, apparently this was an addition a bit later on. They never had the kitchen. A lot of these tent houses were all in a row and they shared kitchens and bathrooms. So this kitchen was an add-on later. And also an addition later on was the sewing room and the bathroom. Because as I said, they all in a row and they shared the bathrooms. And I think they just had one big mess hut that they used to all cook. So you can see here on the right hand side is the original tent house, and then on the left hand side there's the addition that they put in the kitchen and the bathroom. And this tent house is actually an original tent house from Mount Isa. It had been moved, and the lady that lived in it, they built the pub down the road around where all of the old tent houses were, and they bought all the land and ripped out all the tent houses, and the lady that owned this one told them to go and get nicked, and they had to build the pub around it. And then after she passed away, her son sold it to the National Trust, and they disassembled it and they moved it up here as part of a museum. So, and pretty well everything inside it was left exactly the way it was when she passed away. It's all original. So just down in the underground hospital, which was built, as I said, Second World War, because they're a bit worried about Mount Isa being invaded by the Japanese, because it was such a rich mining town and played a very important role in the war effort, copper and lead and zinc. So obviously a lot of the materials were used in the war effort. So this was in the shape of a big E, and it was built by just local miners who volunteered their time after work and built it as an air raid shelter, just in case.
So you probably didn't even know this place existed. You see, after Darwin was bombed in February 42, the fear was so close. 173 convoys made the journey over the next 2 years. It's a 12-day round trip. Sorry. I was telling you about the hospital.
And we've got another ward here with the bunk beds. And check out the operating table. Wouldn't you love to be on that, getting chopped up? Oh, I suppose you'd rather be on this getting chopped up than dying. Anything would be better than... Yeah. You've got a bit of a hope of being saved, I guess. Yeah. And then just go down here. And this mine was actually... It was... they put rubble and everything to block it all off, and some kids found the ventilation shaft up here. So the ventilation shaft, they put a rope down, climbed down and found this. Otherwise, it may never have been rediscovered. So some kids playing found the shaft and found it.
Smoking?
Yeah, started having a few bungers and started a fire. And all the smoke went up through the ventilation shaft.
Thanks.
And alerted the neighbours. And the neighbour called the police and the fire brigade, and they came and discovered the mine, and then they reopened it. So they did their best to try and disguise it, so that it couldn't be seen by the old Japanese if they came in here. And here's a good example of trying to hide it. Good job hiding it. Now that'd be pretty interesting, trying to get a bed down there or something. Wouldn't it? A wheelchair, you'd have to lower it down on... Lucky. So this is the actual maternity ward for the hospital that was up here. And this was actually from another town down near Cloncurry. And they thought that was going to be the booming town, but Mount Isa took over, so they moved it. So it's got a lot of the old history here. And what actually happened is one of the matrons was here. Beth Anderson, her name was. Here's her, and that's her health card. And she was the matron. And when they'd get new equipment, it was her task to get rid of the old equipment. Instead of getting rid of it, she just hoarded it. And then when they redid the building, she brought all this stuff out. So if it wasn't for her hoarding, you'd never have it. So here we've still got a lot of the old equipment that they used. And old Beth hoarded away. Here's something really interesting. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. It's the Japanese money that they printed for Pacific Islands, because they were that confident they were going to take over. They printed notes for all the different islands. Very cool, I've never seen it. So they've got $10, 100 rupees, 10 pesos, 5 pesos, 50 cents, 5 cents. Absolute classic. And then over here we have British Armed Forces money. So as I said, this was the maternity area, and they just had like a operating thing, a birthing room in there, and other than that, all the women after they'd given birth, they stayed out on the balcony. They just had fly screen around here, and they were all out on the balcony, just like these beds are right now. So it would have been pretty hot in summer out here. And there's with the old baby scales. Alright, so that's it for the tent house and the museum, hospital, underground. I'd hate to be out here in summer because, man, it is stinking hot now. We're only just the beginning of October. It'll be unbearable out here in summer. Anyway, let's go on to the next place.
You've got to hold it in till we stop and press that one to go down. Just
Ready?
pressing, yep. I keep holding this one.
Just going for a little walk in the mine. She's a gem, this little mine. So this was all built by volunteers, so they could have somewhere to take the tourists to show them what it was actually like in a mine, in a real mine. So this is what they call the emergency rescue bay. And if there was fires and smoke and things like that, you could come and hop inside it, and they had phones that you could ring up to on the surface, and you could survive in there for 48 hours, hold 12 people. So this was what they had to save people's lives in case of fires or any other gas or anything like that. So this is the loader. They load everything in and ship it out. All the rock and debris and stuff. So this is the crib room, eh? Or the lunchroom or whatever. This is where they used to all have to sit and wait until they got the all clear to go out after the did the detonations and stuff. This was the first pneumatic drill, 1880. we're back at another engineering shop to get the bull bar welded up. Get the old bull bar welded up because she broke again. So we're going to do something a bit different this time. Stitch it on the front instead of inside. Try and get a bit more strength into it. So we're out at Lake Mundari, and Lake Mundari is a lake they built on the Leichhardt River to give water to Mount Isa. They started the lake in 1956, and funnily enough in December 1956 they had a massive big flood in the Leichhardt River, which extensive damage to the dam wall, but they eventually got it done, and this is what supplies all the water for Mount Isa. It's a pretty hefty lake, I tell you. It's a good size, and they must do scenic flights over here because there's a seaplane flying over and there's another plane flying. There's two planes flying through here, so there must be scenic flights for sure over Lake Mundari. She's a big lake. Here comes the old plane now. That'd be a good little joy flight, wouldn't it? Perhaps the water up here may be a little bit radioactive. Knocked down the houses and left the foundations. This is what I was looking for. This is absolutely sensational.